Hey everybody, thanks for joining us. I'm Travis Gadsby of Sliverlake Photo. We have a special event planned for you tonight. We are going to be playing with fire. We're going to teach you the safe and sane way to get a big effect for your fashion/senior shoot. So stay tuned, this is going to be a lot of fun. Why work with live fire? Like I say, a little bit of it is about just the experience of having it done. I mean, you are trying to not only create dynamic images, but you're trying to create a buzz for your studio. In doing it in this fashion, we use a long exposure, and it's similar to things you may have seen done with sparklers or steel wool. We actually freeze the subject with the strobes, and then we paint with the fire over about a 10-second exposure. One thing I want to mention for sure with working with fire is you have to be very careful. We are going to show you how to do this the safe way to keep anyone from getting hurt. You got to realize whether you're shooting newborns or high school seniors, somebody has entrusted you with the safety of their child. So no matter how cool the photo is, do not take any chances. It's never worth scarring somebody for life. What we're going to work with tonight is going to be a very, very small flame built onto a little torch on a long handle. And we're going to paint over a long exposure rather than light up an entire area of flame. The fire is going to be so far away from the model on this, she doesn't even feel the heat. And if she is feeling the heat, that's going to freak her out. Her expression's going to go bad. So we want to be sure that we're keeping a safe distance from her and we're doing this as safely as possible. So as far as the torch goes, this is as low tech as it gets. What we've got here is an old broom handle I had sitting around the house, and used rag and some wire to wire it on with. So we're just gonna wrap that around there and wire it because it's anything else that you tie it with is gonna burn. So we just wrap it around there, wire it on, and then we're gonna saturate it with some tiki torch fluid. I don't like to use gasoline or things that have a much higher combustible rate because the flame, it's a lot harder to control. You're actually gonna see with these images that we get a better shot when the flame's lower and more controllable, because like I say, anything too bright and it overexposes and it gets hard to control. One thing I should point out is when you saturate your torch with tiki torch fluid or lamp oil, do that someplace far away from where you're going to be shooting, because you don't want a puddle of combustible fluid on the ground below where you're going to be painting with fire. That's just a recipe for disaster. If you haven't done this type of photography before at night, you're going to want to set your camera up so that it's on a tripod, set the model where she's going to be, or your subject, get a focus on the model, and then turn your focus over to manual. We're using a wireless remote trigger. That way the camera doesn't have to hunt for focus. Every time you push the button, the strobes are going to go off. We're working with our radio popper wireless triggers, so we've got no cords. Seeing as how we're going to be running around in the dark, we're working in complete darkness here, because any ambient light is going to give you ghosting in your image. So the strobes are going to go off, freeze the subject. We're going to paint with the fire. We can't have interference with ambient light. All right, that's looking good. Here we go. Ready? 1, 2, and 3. Pop. Okay. Good. And we haven't explained this to Brittany yet, but she's doing fantastic. She's got to hold perfectly still, because during that 10-second exposure, if she moves, we end up with a shadow between where the fire was painted behind her and where she now is. Thanks everybody for joining us tonight. I hope you had a good time. I hope you learned something. We've got a bunch of these educational videos planned for you. So if you enjoyed it, go ahead and click down, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Check me out on Facebook. It's Travis Gadsby. And you can check out our website for our backdrops at silverlakephoto.com. Thanks again.